Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I'm so excited to have you here for another video. Today we're going to talk about books that have the word star or stars in the title. I'm really excited about this series. It's such a fun way of looking at the books on my shelves. I have 8 books that have stars in the title that I have not yet read and 3 to talk about that I have already read. But before I jump into that, I just want to say a huge shout out and thank you to Barbara, who sent me this amazing shirt. It's a good day to read. It's so pretty, this light blue color, and it has these pink flowers. It's a little wrinkly, sorry, it just came in the mail yesterday and I threw it on today because it's just so cute. So thank you, Barbara. This is from Piper and Ivy, one of my favorite shops to get bookish t-shirts. I will link Piper and Ivy down below. They had some struggles recently they had a little flooding and some of their inventory was lost. So if you have an inclination to support a small business that sells amazing bookish and plant t-shirts and stickers, and I think a few other things, but mostly t-shirts, please check out Piper and Ivy. They're wonderful, and I order from them all the time, probably too often, but I will link her shop down below. And thank you to Barbara for this lovely shirt that I am in love with. Now let's jump into the books. I have 3 books with stars in the title that I've already read that are all 3 historical fiction. And then surprisingly, 7 of the 8 other books that I have are all middle grade. I don't have any other adult books with the word stars in the title. I have 1 YA and 7 middle grade, which I thought was kind of an interesting thing. So these are going to be mostly middle grade today. If that's not your thing, sorry, but maybe one of these will jump out to you as something you would be willing to try. First of all, though, the ones that I have read. I think I gave this one 4 or 4.5 stars, The Forest of Vanishing Stars by Kristen Harmel. I might have gave it 5 stars because I remember loving this book. It's a World War II, but about people who hide in the woods. And this one girl had been kidnapped, I think, when she was a baby and raised by this woman who lived solely in the woods. So she really learned how to survive in the woods. And then during the war, when Jewish refugees were going into the woods to hide out and try to stay away from all the soldiers and try to not get captured, she was able to help them and teach them survival tips and tricks and how to make it through like the winter time in the Black Forest, which is I think in Poland. I thought it was fantastic. I loved the survival aspect of it. I loved this mystery of this girl and how did she come to live with this older woman. And there was a bit of a romance that was not particularly my favorite part of the book, but I did really love this one. Another one that I talk about, I feel like I talked about it a lot back in the day. I haven't mentioned it too often lately, but The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. I absolutely love this one. It is a pack horse librarian project time period in the Appalachian Mountains, Depression era America, so the 1930s. This is really a found family, these 5 women who are part of the Pack Horse Library Project, and one of them gets accused of something, so there's a bit of a court case involved as well in this story. But it's really about these women and how they support each other and come around each other, and as well their journey up into the mountains to deliver books to people. And I just love that project and I love stories about it. So The Giver of Stars was an easy 5-star read for me. And then something a little different, this one takes place in Afghanistan, but Sparks Like Stars by Nadia Hashimi, I thought was so beautifully written. One of my patrons recommended this to me, and I'm not sure I would have read it if I hadn't been recommended to read it. It was fantastic. So we follow this woman who grows up in Afghanistan, pre-Taliban, pre-communist rule, like when Afghanistan was in its glory days, and her father, I think, is friends with the president. So she kind of lives a very privileged and beautiful life in Afghanistan until the Russian communist coup takes over the government, and so many people are killed, including her parents. Someone sneaks her out of the president's house and gets her sent to America, where she lives with a couple different foster families for a while, which is pretty harrowing. And then as a young woman, she has desires to go back to Afghanistan and kind of get some answers to some things from her past. And Afghanistan that she returns to is very different from the one that she left, because now the Taliban is in control and it's just a very, very different place. I thought this was fascinating and so beautifully written. I loved this one so much. That's Sparks Like Stars by Nadia Hashimi. I highly, highly recommend. This was another easy 5-star read for me. And now I have 8 books that I have not yet read. So the first one is a YA, and this is a sequel. So this is Starsight, which is the sequel to Skyward. I don't know much about this series. It's written by Brandon Sanderson. I definitely want to read it. I've heard such good things about Skyward. I haven't heard much about the rest of the series. I know people do enjoy it. In Skyward, we follow Spensa, I think is her name, and she wants to be a pilot, But her father was a pilot, and he is kind of infamous for being a traitor. And she's trying to find out if that's true, but she really wants to become a pilot in this sci-fi fantasy world. So interested in this series for sure. A historical fiction that has stars in the title is Stella by Starlight by Sharon M. Draper. I've read other books by Sharon Draper and really enjoyed them. I don't know why I haven't read this yet. And honestly, this is probably my third copy or fourth copy of this book. I kept losing it or selling it on Pango, or for some reason, I just kept losing track of this book. But I have it now and I really want to read it. Stella and her little brother are out really late one night. I'm not sure why, and they shouldn't be, but they see something that they're not supposed to see, and their lives get upended because of it. So this is going to involve segregation. It's going to involve Ku Klux Klan and these two little kids who see something that they're not supposed to and the danger that comes to them because of it. This is going to be a really hard and emotional read. I have a feeling, but I'm here for that. I have one here that was a cover by from Book Outlet, I believe. No, it doesn't have the dot. I don't remember where I picked this one up. Spindlefish and Stars by Christiane M. Andrews. A girl from the shadows, a boy from the sea, and their spellbinding adventure. I believe this is a little bit fantastical. Clotilde has lived her whole life with her sometimes thieving and always ailing father. But when he fails to meet her one morning, sending her instead a mysterious ticket of half-passage, Chloe finds herself on a sunless island inhabited only by creaking fishermen, a rumpled old woman, and a moon-cheeked boy named Carrie. So I'm not sure what the story is even going to be, but it sounds like it'll be an adventure. I feel like it's going to be a cute story. Glass House of Stars by Shirley Marr. I first heard about in the collab recommendations video that I make for Middle Grade March every year. Katie Flowers from Australia recommended this one, and when she described it, I'm like, oh my word, I need to have that book. So I added this to my want to read list right away. The last paragraph of the summary says, when her fragile universe is rocked by tragedy, it will take all of Mei Jing's resilience and bravery to finally find her place of belonging in this new world. So we follow Mei Jing, who goes to a new land. They live with her uncle, but then her uncle passes away and she only finds solace in his greenhouse. It inexplicably holds the sun and the moon and the secrets of her memory and imagination. So I feel like it's going to deal with loss and grief in a beautiful way. I just remember Katie's description of it, and I'm so excited to read this one. I love books that explore grief in some way. Then we have Keeping Safe the Stars by Sheila O'Connor. She has written quite a few books, and I've read one or two books by Sheila O'Connor and have really enjoyed them. This one follows three sisters who are orphan siblings who stay with their grandpa, Old Finn, until he falls ill and has to go to a hospital far from home. The Stars is what they call themselves. That's their last name. But the Stars must take care of themselves. But staying safe and keeping the outside world at bay proves to be more difficult than they imagined. A mesmerizing tale of growing up and a family sticking together against all odds. I especially love middle grade books with sibling groups. I find that to be really lovely. And so I'm excited about these three sisters and how they're going to stick together and make their way in the world without their grandpa. What's going to happen to them? I don't know. Next one I have is Starry River of the Sky by Grace Lin. This is a fantasy based on Chinese folklore, I believe. The first book, Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, I really loved. And that combined a lot of Chinese folklore in that story. And so I'm not sure what this one is, but I do know, yeah, if it's like the first one. It has really cool like chapter illustrations, but also it has these full page color illustrations as well, which is very cool. So in this one, we follow a young boy named Rendy who recognizes that the moon has gone missing from his town, but nobody else seems to have noticed. And now all of these weird things are happening. The innkeeper's son goes missing. These two other people are always arguing. There's this mysterious crying that he hears. And so he is on a hunt to try to figure out what happened to the moon and why is all this strange stuff happening. I feel like it's going to be really wonderful. I really loved Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, and I'm looking forward to this one as well. Then we have Starfish. Oh yeah, I have another Starfish, middle grade, that I've read already, but this is another book called Starfish. This one's by Akemi Dawn Bowman. In this one, we follow a young girl named Kiko. She is half Japanese and always feels a little uncomfortable in her own skin. She feels remarkable. She has a mother who makes her feel unremarkable and a heritage that she doesn't quite understand. She really has this huge dream to get into art school this art school called Prism, so she kind of keeps her head down and does her best to try to get into the school, but then she doesn't make it into the school. She has an abusive uncle who moves back in with her family, so this is going to be a heartbreaking story. But then she receives an invitation from her childhood friend to leave her small town and tour art schools on the West Coast. She jumps at the opportunity in spite of anxieties and fears that attempt to hold her back. And now that she's finally free to be her own person outside the constricting walls of her home life, she learns life-changing truths about herself, her past, and how to be brave. My word, that sounds so like intense and heartbreaking. It was a finalist for this award, William C. Morris Debut Award. Cool. So that one sounds really good. Heartbreaking and hard, but good. And then this last one is a recommendation from Amanda. It's actually called Moon Garden, but the series is called Plotting the Stars. So there's the stars part there, right there. This cover is stunning. This is by Michelle A. Berry, and I believe this is a secret garden retelling set in space. What is there not to love about that? Oh my word. I'm very much here for this. And there's a second book now in the series as well that I'm very interested in. So here are all my unread books with star in the title, or stars. I guess there's starfish as well, star sight, but with starry. I would love to hear if you have any books that you have read and loved that have stars in the title, or if you have one on your shelves that you're looking forward to. I would love to hear from you about that down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to sharing more videos in this series of books on my shelves with blank in the title. You guys did a great job guessing. So there are more to come, including the one that I have the most of, and you will be shocked. I was shocked at how many books I have with a particular word in the title. Oh my word. And it might not be what you're thinking. So that's kind of fun. Thank you again to Barbara for my lovely shirt. Please go check out Piper and Ivy. All of these books will be linked in the description below. If you're interested in checking any of them out on Amazon, there you have it. And thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here, and I look forward to talking with you in another video very soon. Bye.